Hello students, welcome to the second part of the introduction to polar coordinates. So we'll continue with our lesson. So we have the unit circle here. I just want to give you an idea what I'm going to introduce to you today. Suppose I have a polar coordinate, let's say 2 and pi over 6. Okay, so there is, let's say 2 is, just a recap, 2 is the distance from the center on the hypotenuse. I would say hypotenuse only because just to bring the thought of the rectangle and the polar coordinate are cos theta and r sin theta as the coordinate on the Cartesian plane. But when you're looking at the polar coordinate plane, so what you would do is think of 2 as the distance from the pole, that is distance from the origin. The pole is the origin here. And the angle with which the ray is subtending on the x-axis. So this is the thing. Okay, so suppose this is 2 units. The circle has radius 2. It's 2 units from the origin. And it's subtending an angle pi over 6, which is 30 degrees, right? So this is a pi over 6. And this is the 2, the radius 2, okay? So that's the point 2 pi over 6. So, how many other ways can you represent the same point? So that's the question here. So the angle here is 30 degrees. Right? So will there be another way of reaching this ray? So we are reaching in the counterclockwise direction, which is this way, going counterclockwise. Counterclockwise is this way, clockwise is this way, right? So counterclockwise, you're making a positive angle, but if you want to make a negative angle, you would go the other way around, isn't it? You would go this way. So what would that angle be? If this is 30 degrees, pi over 6 is 30 degrees, so this is 30 degrees, what would be the other angle? It would be 360 minus 30, isn't it? So the negative angle is 330 degrees. Negative 330, by the way. Right? So that's the angle I'm referring to. So the same point could be written as 2 comma pi over 6 and 2 comma negative 11 pi over 6, which is the negative 330 degrees. Okay, so that is one other representation. So there are 2 more that you could represent it as. How? So what I want you to do is, I cannot bring a ruler onto this virtual scenario, but just place a ruler here, okay? Place a ruler here, okay, at this point. When you place a ruler here, what happens? So let's extend the line here on top of the ruler. So this becomes the negative side of, or the other side of the same line or the ray, which is representing this particular coordinate, polar coordinate. So on the other side, this becomes, so we are going away from the terminal side, so it's going on this side. So when you do this, this particular point becomes negative 2 pi over 6. So it's the negative radius, meaning you're going on the other side, but the angle remains still the same, pi over 6. So that is the other representation. So pretty much you're going only 180 degrees from here to here. So think about that. It's just 180 degrees away. So I'll tell you why I'm mentioning 180 in a bit. But when you move on the other side, you will get the negative 2 pi over 6, and that's how you represent the other point. And for this also, there is a negative side to it, right? So you're approaching in the positive way, pi over 6, and there will be another way also. So when you have negative 2, this is positive pi over 6, and negative 2, you have to add some angle to get the other representation. We'll see what. So this is negative 2 and pi over 6, and let me take the green here. So it's just that we went on the other side and hence we got -2, but we actually traveled 180 degrees from here to here. So that's what I was trying to mention before. So you could add 180 to this particular 30 degrees to get the 210 degrees. So the same thing is -2 and 30 plus 180 is 210, right? So 210 degrees is the other thing. Okay, right? So now you have 4 representations of the same polar coordinate. All right. So you can pause here, go back and just listen to the explanation one more time. Once you understand it, the concept becomes easy. Okay. So 2 pi over 6 to -11 pi over 6, -2 pi over 6 and -2 7 pi over 6. Get the idea? So normally they generalize this by saying r comma theta, r, so let me highlight this as I say, r and theta plus or minus 2 pi, because you're adding 360 degrees on both positive side and negative side. So, and when you're making the negative r, you would add plus or minus pi, because we're going on just the other side of the same line. Okay, so that's the deal here. So let's try some examples over here. Okay, so we need to plot this point 6 and 7 pi over 6. So if you feel like you should have some space to work on, go ahead, feel free to do that. So right now what I'm going to do is make some space for myself over here so I can draw this. Okay, so 7 pi over 6, right? We just saw that. Actually, we just did that problem. So 7 pi over 6 is the 210 degrees, right? So, but that's okay. I should have drawn it this way, my bad. But 6 and 7 pi over 6 is here, actually. 6 and 7 pi over 6. Okay, this is the positive side, meaning positive for 210 degrees. So this is the pole and this is the tail. And now we're going toward the tail, then what would happen toward the, wherever it is leading to the arrow. So when we are going toward the arrow, if we take the positive side, so 6, 7 pi over 6. So this is the positive side of it. Now if we want to get to the same point from the negative side, right, what would we do? We would go to the negative side. So it is 90 degrees and 90. So okay, this is, let's say, so this is 30 degrees. Okay, this is 30 degrees, right? So this is 60 plus 90 is 150 degrees, so it is -150. Or in other words, you can actually say 360 minus 210, right? 360 is the 2 pi minus 210 degrees, this is 150. You can get from here in the negative direction, -150 degrees. So you can write the same thing as 6 and -150, and you know that -150 is 5 pi over 6. So 6 and -5 pi over 6. You have to put the unit circle in front of you, so all these radians also will become easy. Okay, or you can convert 150 into radians easy. Just multiply by pi or 180. So this is one thing. So we have 2 representations of the same point and the other 2 where r is less than 0, meaning r is negative. So that means we have to travel away from the arrow. So put the ruler here. So if I were in the classroom, I would have shown you with the ruler. Put your ruler here. And that means you are going back away from this arrow onto the other side. Okay, that's how you make the reference. So which means that here, this point is -7 pi over 6. Okay, that's the third representation. Sorry, this the second one other than the original one. Okay, let me put it that way. Normally we can do 4. Actually, we can do more than 4. We can do multiple ways, because you can take any multiple of 2 pi and add to it, any multiple of pi and add to it, or subtract. So negative 7 pi over 6, right? We can also write this as negative 30 degrees, because we just have to add pi to it. We could add or subtract pi, right? So either way. So if we actually subtract, now I'm choosing to subtract because it's already 7 pi over 6. When I subtract pi from it, that means I'm subtracting 180 from it, you will get a 30. So this is another representation, negative 6 and 30 degrees, right? Which is this way. We went this way to get negative 6, 7 pi over 6, and also the same thing would be represented as negative 6 and 30 degrees. Okay, makes sense? So 30 degrees is again pi over 6. So you may want to write if you want to, if the answer wants it in pi radians, because I think Math Excel wants it in radians. So these are the 4 representations of the same point. Okay, that's the deal here. All right, I would love you to try this particular question, this one. It is starting with negative, but it's the same concept. All right, I'll just give you a quick idea on it. If you draw the unit circle, then you will really understand it. Just answering like this from here will come once you get the concept right, and maybe 3 or 4 questions later, you would not need to draw it. Okay, so it just comes by practice. So negative 3 and pi over 6. So pi over 6 is actually here. Again, it's the same 30 degree. This is pi over 6 angle, and he's saying negative, so we must take the other side, which is the negative 3. So you have to start from here. This is the point, negative 3 pi over 6. Okay, so now you can now see the other 3 points easily. I'm leaving that to you. The key will be online, so you can check the answer for this. All right. I'm stopping the video here, because the other topic I want to teach you in this intro class is converting between polar coordinates and Cartesian coordinates. Okay, both ways. I'll see you next time in that video. Bye-bye.